All right, everybody, Rob Ferretti here, and behind me somewhere, I have one of my worst ever performing rental cars I've ever owned. And the answer to that one may surprise you, because I've had a lot of ones that sort of hit with a thud. The worst one I think I've ever had, probably the Celine S7. Yeah, think about that, right? Like Celine S7, sexy American supercar, terrible rental car. I had a little bit of fun with it, but not as much as you would have thought, right? It's like an ideal car to be like, this is awesome to own. So it's not the Aston Martin, but the Aston Martin is not the top performer. Obviously wouldn't be the Ferrari, the G-Wagon. We're just going to keep walking. I'm going to keep saying car names until we get there. Not the Lamborghini. Lamborghini Huracans do very well. I don't know what's coming up next. It's not going to be that, though. It's not the Audi R8, although the Audi R8, surprisingly, not as strong demand-wise as some of the other cars. Definitely not the S-Class. S-Class are very popular. Not the Range Rover. I don't know why the hood's up. It looks like the battery's a little low. Not the Gallardo. This is a new addition. Watch your step there. There you go. And it's not the other S-Class. Oh, it's the Z06. Wow, Rob, the new 2023 C8 Z06. How could that possibly be one of the worst rental cars you've ever owned? Yeah, well, let me tell you. So this car here, and how am I going to rectify this? I'm going to sell it for now. This specific car, I don't think it's the model. I think the car would have done fine had this car not had the same issues that I've had with Mclaren. And those issues that make something a terrible rental car are performance issues. And when I say performance issues, not that they don't do really good things when they work, but they were unreliable and it broke. This car needed a new engine. There's nothing wrong with it now. It's got a brand new long block in it. So if anything, theoretically, it's better than a car because it's like having 0 miles, like having a brand new car again. But the odometer shows 3,000 miles. So I didn't get to really generate any income off this car because 1,100 of those 3,000 miles were me driving it to break it in. So this car is now a 3,000 mile car that I lost the entire season on, and it's gotten virtually no revenue, no use, because the thing has been sitting around, either broke down on a customer or it was towed, it was in the shop, it was going from shop to shop. So it was and that's the problem with Mclaren, right? If it can't work consistently, it can't go out on rental. And like we're worried about it going like to Boston and then getting stuck up there and we have to go fish it out. And luckily when it broke for good, when the actual engine went, it was only, whatever, an hour and a half, 2 hours away in Jersey, so it wasn't that bad. But the other thing that makes this a terrible rental car is its depreciation, right? Now you think about this car, don't think about, like, this car is still probably going to sell for over MSRP. So don't think about depreciation in like this. But when I bought this car, January, it was worth pretty damn close to $200,000, right? $185,000, $190,000 was not an unreasonable price to be asking for these cars because the market was over list, which I've got other cars that still sell for over list, right? Ferraris that go out and they still sell for over list. My 488 Spider is worth significantly more than the depreciated Corvette would be, if you can fathom that, right? Like it's a $330,000 car still worth about $230,000 with 35,000 miles on it. It's a huge advantage to having Ferraris that they keep their value like that. This one, not so much. And this one is probably worth, I don't know, 130 to 150, right? On a 135 window. That's not very good, right? That's this car in 10 months depreciated to the tune of about $6,000 a month. That's not good, right? $6,000 a month in depreciation. That's $60,000 in 10 months. So it was worth 190, let's just say, to be objective, and now it's worth 130. It could be anywhere between $60,000, that's $72,000 per year. That's not good at all. That's like a Mclaren, right? And the Mclaren, I remember when I bought my 12C, paid $275 for it, thought I did a great deal on like a 281 window or 283 window. Fast forward 6 months, they called me up to sell me a convertible. The market dropped on them, and they offered me like 160 grand as a trade-in on my car that I've had for 6 months. I'm like, wait, you're offering me over $100,000 less than I just paid you, and you're trying to sell me another one? I'm like, get out of here. They never call me again. And that's what the Z06 is currently having an issue with. And it's not that this car is not worth $150,000 all day long. The market has softened on them. It should be a $150,000 car, but I don't need to carry this for the winter. I'm going to sell this car. What did GM do for me? Not much. GM ended up giving me 3 months worth of payments. Payments on this are about $2,500 a month, I think, through my leasing company. So I got about $7,500 back and a couple of GM dollars for GM points for buying accessories, like so I could get wheel covers or something like that. But that doesn't go very far. But surprisingly, this car is one of the worst performing cars I've had of the year, definitely. As far as revenue versus depreciation, this thing's a huge loss. But I was able to buy the car at MSRP, so the loss is not going to be tremendous, but it's still going to be a loss owning this car for the year. If I knew, and I didn't know, and I like to keep my relationships, I could have sold this, made a quick $50,000 right out of the gate. Didn't have to do it, didn't have to rent it, didn't have to take any risk, didn't have to deal with the engine blowing on me. It would have blown on the other guy. So that would have been a smart play. But again, I'm in this business to rent cars and make money, not buy cars and flip cars. So it comes with the good and the bad. So let me just take a quick peek. If you want to buy it, I'm going to put it up, either bring a trailer or I may just put it up on my eBay account and see if anyone wants to grab it. But the mileage on this puppy right now, 3491. So it's a 3,500 mile car, of which 2,500 miles were customers, which is not a lot. We probably had, because not everybody takes it for a day, we probably had 6 guys on it, 6 or 8 customers on this car. But just say it generated 15 grand in revenue against 2,500 miles, that's not very good. And $15,000 in top line revenue, yeah, do the math. Just the interest on the loan and everything like that. This will probably be a loss on the books from carrying this car for the year. First guy to lose money on a Z06 on that. That's renting a Z06, not even driving it personally. I'm going to lose money. It's an interesting thought. Anyway, I wasn't expecting it, but when I started running the numbers, I'm like, wait a second, that's not very good. And now this could be yours. And now, obviously, I'm pointing out that the car has depreciated at least from the market value, not from what I paid for it, but from the market value of when I bought it to now. That's not going to continue, right? Like, don't expect that this car is going to be $35,000 at this rate and like, well, if it's 140 grand now, that means it'll be like 50 grand next year. These are still great cars, right? Like, I know they have their hiccups with some people having engine problems or transmission problems, but this, at the end of the day, is a great vehicle. I'm buying one for myself. I'm selling this one now, and I'm going to buy another one going into next season. I just don't see a lot of use on the Z06 throughout the winter. So no reason to sit here and pay $2,500 a month to look at it. And no reason to wholesale it out to somebody on monthly rentals and let somebody put a bunch of miles on it for $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I'd rather just get rid of it, cut my losses, and wait for my new one to come in the spring. And I'll actually break down, because I am still buying one of these. Great car. One of the last naturally aspirated, fun performance cars you're going to be able to buy. So historically, it's going to be a pretty awesome car. That's why I'm buying one for myself. I'll do another video where I break down the build difference between what I'm building as a rental car, and what I'm going to be doing differently than this rental spec, and then what I'm going to be doing for my personal car, which is going to be a heavier MSRP. It's going to be, the MSRP is going to be about $20,000 more than even this one was. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching, and good and the bad, right? Like, everyone's like, wow, you got a brand new Z06, $50,000, $70,000 under market value is what he paid for it. He's going to rent it and make all this money. You think in your head, everything goes well. Like, everything goes well. But as soon as one thing doesn't, a great thing turns into a loss. Thanks for watching. See you next time.